And you need them to survive.
One-time purchases.
And you need them to survive.
One-time purchases.
And you need them to survive.
One-time purchases.
To survive.
That are not going to be made in 2025.
Doesn't matter. You needed them to survive.
So our spending.
Hey,
how about we go into the finances and look what we can fix?
Here's the fix. Don't spend $120,000 in a year, you dumb.
What the do you mean?
Do you feel any kind of resentment here?
I don't think I would have ever married her.
Download my budgeting app today and take control of your money once and for all. And for a limited time only, sign up for the annual version of Premium and get my cookbook and notebook signed and mailed directly to you. Link in the description and pinned comment below.
Hi, my name is Lady. I'm 26 years old.
Hi, my name is Manny. I'm 28 years old and we're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And this is the Financial Audit.
The Financial Audit right here. Thanks for coming to Austin. What do we do for a living? Let's start with Lady, because Lady's in front of me. It's an interesting fake name we've assigned you. Like, why the aren't you Guy? I don't know.
I don't know.
You look like someone named Guy.
Well,
okay, what do you do, lady?
I'm unemployed, so I'm just home all the time.
All right.
Yep.
Guy.
So I am currently a substitute teacher at my local high school.
How the f are you guys living? No offense. I don't even need to ask the wage for that. I know it's not much. How the f are you living? You also look like a substitute teacher.
Yeah, I know.
So this is like, okay. So you go in, you put a little DVD into a machine, and they can just sit and go to sleep while you're there.
Oh, I wish.
You babysit.
I wish. So
unless you're a perma sub. Are you perma subs?
We're in every day. Currently, I'm teaching 8th grade integrated science. Our principal had medical emergencies, so the 8th grade science teacher is now the principal. So we kind of all stepped up positions. It's still the same pay, but I am teaching. So it's $175 a day. It's daily pay. It averages to about 23 and some change an hour.
Okay, what hits your account on a monthly basis?
If the weeks are full, because we don't get paid for like days school's closed or like spring break or anything, it's $1,400 even every 2 weeks.
Oh, every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So yeah, $2,800 a month if school's open.
But that is not always, and there's like 3 months where it's definitely not.
Correct. Like this paycheck is only 6 days, so it's going to be rough.
Why? Spring break took up that much?
Spring break was Friday and Monday, and then being here missed 2 days.
Yeah.
So, but I do also have a second job.
Why are you unemployed?
I am an immigrant.
Yeah, you are. I hear the accent now. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, so I'm currently trying to get my
You guys married?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
How long have you guys been together?
Since June 2022.
Yeah, we've been married for about a year and a half, September of 23.
You got married in a year?
Yeah, a little over a year.
Yep.
A little quick, but very happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Zambia, but I am Somali. From Zambia. In Africa.
Were you guys on a different show on TLC before this?
No 90 Day Fiance. No, she was over here for school, and we met on a dating app, and that's kind of what kicked it off.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long until you get this work visa?
I applied for it. I had one, and then it expired in August of 2024.
What were you doing?
I was working in customer service.
Okay, but that is money, and we need money in Pittsburgh, cost of living area, edge of the Rust Belt. Okay, yeah, not horribly the most expensive, but substitute, pay with all the time. Like what the f do you do in the summer?
So my second job that I work,
pop at me?
Yeah, that I work with concurrent with school is at CVS.
Concurrent with school?
Yes.
Oh wait, no, working at school, not being in school.
No, well, I'm also in school.
You're in school. What are you in school for?
To get my teaching degree for my master's.
Oh, master's? Why master's? Why are you substitute? What's your bachelor's in?
UX design. So I did an online school.
Why are you doing something UX? That makes money.
As soon as I graduated, is when COVID really hit and everyone got laid off. So
COVID really hit. That's when fucking tech hiring went crazy. After a couple months. Yeah. After like 6 months into COVID, you could have got any job you fucking wanted.
I wish. I applied to over 200 UX jobs.
Then you probably sucked at your applications.
Maybe. I did try
and
to
you
do...
didn't have experience for what it's worth, but they now engineers where they're like, let's overhire, let's pay whatever is necessary to get them, like right in the middle of COVID, and that is not the case anymore, and it's really hard for a lot of people. But yeah, UX, I get it. It probably wasn't as crazy, but you had to have some kind of opportunity. Like there's a certain part where it was probably your interview or resume skills.
Well, the problem is getting the interview. So
then it was your resume skills.
Yeah, getting the experience to even get like a resume or
you would have
portfolio.
had to do some contracting jobs. Step in the door, dude.
I try. It's
so
difficult. Yes, I did. It's so difficult to get anything UX. Even with like I had a portfolio website that had like my school projects and stuff on it.
Maybe it wasn't good. No offense, I'm hiring people right now, but every time I see a school project, it looks like a school project, and I fucking run away. I would rather almost have no experience in school projects.
I had a good mentor who was he was head of UX at BNY Mellon. So he was local in Pittsburgh because we have a BNY Mellon like building there. And he tried to help me out with portfolio and everything. So I took his tips and everything and still just I couldn't get anything. And so to get money, like right when we started dating, I think.
UX design, right?
Yes. My sister is a full-time teacher up at the like elementary school. And she said, I'd make more money there than what I was doing working at CVS. So I kind of have been there for like 2 years. Realized I enjoyed teaching. So I started to go back and get my master's. So,
which I vibe with. I wanted to be a teacher for the longest time. That's why I like making the educational things that we do.
Yeah, and it's really fun. I enjoy it. My last 2 classes finish up in like 2 weeks. I do have my student teaching and my praxis to pass. So hopefully by December of this year, I'll be fully certified and able to start making actual salary.
We see about 16,500 job openings projected each year for web developers and digital designers over the decade. But each year for the remainder of the decade. And we're expecting about Bureau of Labor Statistics is projecting an 8% growth in employment for web developers and digital designers from 2023 to 2033. Now, AI is throwing a wrench in some things, but that was not as much of a case when you were doing that. I really think you probably just had a skill issue, dude. Like fucking resume issue.
It's fully possible. I don't think
because if you were applying to that many and you weren't getting an interview,
I think
you would have gotten some interviews, buddy.
Yeah. I definitely didn't put my best foot forward, like in school. Didn't try as hard as I should have.
Were you putting your GPA?
Oh, my GPA
on your resume.
So, my GPA. I graduated from my college. I want to say with like a 3.5, 3.6.
And did you put that in your resume?
Yes.
Why? Who cares? Just say you have the degree.
Because I was told by that guy at BNY Mellon that he does look at GPAs.
And then you didn't get hired.
Correct.
Or interviews.
Correct.
So maybe we're not listening to him.
I think he was okay, but I also learned
you didn't get any job interviews.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with the fact that now that I have a bachelor's, that's kind of useless. As long as I get my master's, I'm happy teaching. The problem is
I'm okay
actually
with that.
like getting
so teaching
the money.
in what? What do you want to teach in?
Math. So I really enjoy teaching kind of like 9th, 10th grade level math, kind of like Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, that sort of thing.
But they're telling me you guys are thinking of moving to fucking Zambia.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at geography, but I don't think I can point to Zambia.
Well, I'm from there, so...
I can point to Somalia.
Oh, Zambia is down south.
So there's like...
There's a lot south of that,
there's like South Africa.
Okay, that's very far from fucking Somalia. Okay. We don't need this isn't geography audit. Okay. Yeah. But if we're looking to get a master's degree in math and we're talking about moving to Zambia, what the fuck are we doing? What is going on?
So, as far as moving goes, all of my family lives within about 10 minutes of each other. So until I always said to my parents, when they get older and they kind of pass away, it sounds morbid, but I kind of want to stay close to my family until, everyone.
Then what is this talk of moving to Zambia?
After they
Well, how long is that? Ish.
My parents right now are both about 60, so...
Buddy, this is... Okay, so we're talking like 20 years from now, maybe. Like, why the fuck are we talking about this?
Because obviously if I get a teaching degree now and I move to Zambia...
And we want to live somewhere where the GDP per capita is $1,300.
Yeah, so it's kind of like... Okay, so for moving to Zambia, obviously her family's over there. That's where she's from. But getting out of like our American debt, the conversion
Another
is about
couple escaping from their American debt from their
no,
own
not
fucking
escaping,
choices.
We're
paying it
not-
off.
Also,
Yeah.
20 years.
Well,
20 fucking years until you can even go.
20 years is 20 years. I mean, we're not
20 years of debt.
Yeah, but at the same time, when she gets a job, if her work visa ever comes, the currency conversion to her country is about 28 to 1. So what we make over here when we can get out of debt, if we can save up even like a year or two's worth of
Yeah.
salary, we're rich over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's if you can save up and you pay off your debt. That is so many ifs. And if you're on this show, you probably f***ed yourself.
Correct.
So, I don't know what we're talking about. Plus, you're just going to be a math teacher anyway. It's not like you're going to be going like crazy.
True. But also my teaching degree from here, I can also teach over there math because their native language is
with
English.
the average salary.
Yes. But like I said, paying off our debt here then allows us to save and use that American
it does
money.
if you do it. But you're on this show, meaning
But-
you've done literally the opposite.
But it's not an if we pay off our debt. It's a when. It's going to happen.
No, I've seen people on this show in their 60s. I think even one or two in their 70s. That is not a win. You can go tell debt. This is fucking America,
Correct.
buddy. Consumerism to the tit. You're gonna fucking stack it all up until you die. You don't think that this doesn't just change with age? It's changing with behavior. You're not changing behavior. It is not a win thing. It is not a mathematical equation in your sense. This is you having to actually put in the action.
But a big problem with like why we are in debt is because of her work issues, her work visa. If she was making a decent salary right now, 16, 17 bucks an hour, even if she's making the $30,000, we would be able to get out of our debt much, much easier. Maybe not, perfectly, but much less than 20 years.
I think the main reason that you're in debt is you make $2,800 because you are being a substitute teacher instead of actually trying to figure something out and even working another job, a better job, which you totally can. You're in the age range where you're in like getting close to prime earning. You have a lot of opportunities and then you spend $3,600
So
in a month. $3,600 in a month.
yes,
By the income that you are choosing, which is not always that high because you want to do this. You're choosing to. It's not just because she doesn't have a job. I think we should get you a job.
it's not allowed.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And that would be great if we can get there. But that is not the sole reason. You're using it as an excuse instead of you actually picking up a little.
So come December, when I can get hired as a teacher, step one pays $48,000 a year with a master's degree in math,
Helps.
which is $13,000 more than I'm making now.
Yeah, let's get a
But I
master's
also
degree to make
have-
$48,000. Sounds
That's
like
the
a
starting. By step
So-
20, if I stay teaching for 20 years, that's about $98,000 a year.
buddy. Listen. In our generation, because we're pretty close in age, the average is we leave jobs in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a lot of people that get in teaching, they stay in teaching, you got the a lot of the government benefits. I'm not saying that's 100% you, but to just bank on 20 years with what our generation is known for, I don't know, man.
I thoroughly enjoy teaching. So I plan on staying
I
at
bet,
this job
but you
for a
don't know
very
what's going to
long time.
happen with what you're interested in, the school you're interested in. Maybe you're not actually that good, once you're in the classroom and dedicated full time. Like, who even knows? You're banking on a lot.
I am banking on a lot, but at the same time, if I bank on nothing, then I might as well just sit around and do nothing.
How much does a UX designer make at 20 years?
Probably well over $100,000 a year.
Right.
But at the same time, with teaching, I also do work a second job. I do enjoy the quality of life of, hey, I get out of school and I'm done working by 3:30. Grade some stuff over the weekend. So I enjoy quality of life a lot.
I think it's because you're a substitute. Basically, any teacher I know, they're working well past 3:30.
Well, 3:30 they get out of school. They can
I
grade
know.
after.
Yes.
But a lot of the times with how, at least the school I work at is run now, everything's online. They don't have to really grade anything.
And once you're able to start working again, what is your work experience?
I have a lot. I've worked in management. I've worked in travel ticketing. I've worked in customer service. As a customer rep. I've worked as a what are they called? Med tech and aide at senior living homes. I have worked logistics. That's actually the one I've worked the longest. Logistics.
So like with her customer experience, the company, she has an NDA, so she can't say necessarily what company she worked for because of who they helped.
That's fine.
But customer service, she dealt with like financial stuff with people. And
what, helping them? Because I guess you need her.
It's
then.
a certain financial app that you can invest in. She was helping them with like their accounts and deposits, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
She was, I don't want to say bad, but her managers kind of let her have it because she's not necessarily Americanized enough to, when we call customer service, apologize to people.
I don't speak to a single American when I talk to customer service.
But like how they're all supposed to say, hey, I'm sorry you're going through this problem, and let me help you and all this stuff.
What'd you say?
She's straight to the problem, straight to the solution. Here, I fixed it. Have a good day. Bye.
Cool. Why didn't you adjust and not be bad at your job?
Because he felt like I'm faking it, and I really didn't care.
Yeah, but what about keeping your job?
Well, I mean, technically, I was good at the job. I was
kept getting in trouble for that.
Except I wasn't apologizing enough, which I think it's fake. And personally,
did they tell you to apologize more?
Yeah.
Then that's your fucking job.
Yeah, but then personally, I always look at it as if I was on the phone call and I called somebody and I have an issue, I want them to tell me what the solution is.
It doesn't matter. It's not your company.
But that was fake. But I didn't want to fake.
It doesn't matter. It's your fucking job. I'm so confused here.
I know. But
I don't care how you want to cook the burger. If the restaurant tells you how the burger is cooked, cook the fucking burger.
Yeah, but I didn't like that. I hated it so much.
It's your job. What are we talking about?
So especially with hers, customer service is so time-based that going through all that apologizing and stuff, she was going over her time limit. So she was getting in trouble for them telling her to do the thing, but then she was doing the thing and then going over the time limit, so then she was getting deducted on that.
Yeah, that too, because they give you like a time limit.
Okay, so you weren't good at your job.
No, I was good at everybody at the job. Did you get
fired?
No, I didn't get fired.
Her work permit ran out.
Yeah, but a lot out of like everybody that was working.
What's your green card status? So you guys are married. What have we done?
So we got married. We filed, it's an I-131, which is like my petition for her to stay here.
Yeah.
Then we had to file the I-485, which is her adjustment of status, which is basically saying like, hey, we're legally married. I want her to get a marriage green card. That's been pending about a year now.
Over a year.
And then we filed for her work permit in August, and that's supposed to take 3 to 5 months. It's been 8.
Okay. Yeah.
So right now she's legally here on basically a marriage green card because while that's pending, she's allowed to stay here. But we're kind of just waiting on interviews and waiting on
How are things going to change when she has an income?
We'll have much more money to pay down debts much easier. I'm looking at getting rid of...
I assume your spending will just go up because look where you are. We're at $70,000 a debt. Why no? You're confident with the no? You already
100% confident.
She already had an income before.
Correct. But we
How long has she not had an income?
Since August.
Yeah,
8 months.
See you then.
That is when our credit card
debt. This is not $70,000 in 8 months. That's spending. F you.
Well, $70,000 in 8 months. Our spending has skyrocketed because we also moved in after we got married because we're not allowed to live together before we got married.
Oh no! I moved into a place. That means I have to spend $70,000 in 8. What are you talking about, dude?
A lot of our expenses were with her not having a job. We have to put on credit cards.
$70,000. That is you living above your means. You do not need to live on $70,000 in 8 months. That we are talking at that point. You are living off of $110,000 a year. That is, you are not making that up with an income. What are you talking about?
A lot of this stuff over the past year are one-time purchases that are not going to be made in subsequent years.
And you need them to survive.
One-time purchases.
And you need them to survive.
One-time purchases.
And you need them to survive.
This is what I'm talking about. One-time purchases.
To survive.
That are not going to be made in 2025
Doesn't matter.
or 2026.
You needed them to survive.
So our spending... Hey, our spending is going to go down because of those one-time purchases are no longer on the budget.
Works. Listen. Next year, maybe you'll want to buy a chin. I don't know what's going to happen. At some point, everything gets pushed. You will find a replacement for that spending. The spending that you did last year that are one-time, you're going to find one-time purchases next year. I only have 4 of these conversations a week. That's it. For 3 years.
You're saying my position is the same as everybody else's position and I'm not unique in any way, so why would I be on this podcast in the first place?
Yeah, basically, because essentially everyone that comes on the show, trust me, I've heard that this show...
Just because our spending was bad in the last 12 months does not mean it's going to be bad in the subsequent 12 months or the 12 months after that.
Behavior just changes because we wake up one day?
We are here to get our behavior changed and look at what we need to change.
I don't change behavior. I will give you advice of what you should and should not do.
And that advice
will
help our behavior.
If you follow it.
Yes, that's what we want to do is follow it. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Okay, fucking bingo. Got it. Ding, ding, ding. Buddy, everyone says that. Again, you think you're unique? You're saying exactly what everyone says every single time.
Okay, I'm here to get help. If I didn't want help, I would not be here.
Then maybe you should fucking listen instead of interjecting. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Interject.
No, go ahead.
There it is. Okay, your one-time purchases that you did last year, you will have one-time purchases for the rest of your life. This is what happens every single time. And even still, she did not have a job since the middle of last year, since after the middle of last year, and you guys chose to live on $120,000. Even if they're one-time purchases, I don't give a you chose to live off of $120,000 a year when you barely make scraps. So I don't give a if they're one-time purchases. You chose that.
So how about we go into the finances and look what we can fix?
Buddy, it's a fix. Here's a fix. Let me give you a little fix. This will solve your entire issue, and we can fast forward instead of doing an hour and a half. Here's a fix. Don't spend $120,000 in a year, you dumb making $30,000. Let's be real. If your private student loans have you eyeing a third job at the local taco stand, maybe it's time for a better plan. Y-Refi is your lifesaver in a sea of debt. Unlike the typical loan sharks who treat your credit score like a magical crystal ball, Y-Refi cares if you actually want and can afford to repay. So forget about jumping through hoops and start jumping for joy at their under 6% interest rates. That's right, 6%, less than 6%. Plus, they've got a co-signer release program so you can finally give your mom a break from your financial baggage. So consider it your early Mother's Day or Father's Day gift. They also offer a structured repayment plan to lower your monthly bill and personal reps who actually pick up the phone. It's no wonder why they've got a 4.6 star rating on Google. Apparently, treating borrowers like humans actually works wonders. So if you're sick of interest rates that are so high, they may as well charge you for oxygen. Y-Refi is your shot at a real solution. No more losing sleep and no more ignoring the mountain of student loan statements on your kitchen table. Go to yrefy.com/hammer. That's yrefy.com/hammer. Or call 888-YREFI-78. That is 888-YREFI-78. And get out from under the weight of private student loans. Let's make your debt meltdown a distant memory, not a daily reality.
We were fiscally irresponsible, and that's what we are here to try and fix.
But that is not how this conversation is going to go. Stop trying to control this, okay? You little domineering freak. That is not how this is going to work. I am trying to learn about you.
Yes.
I get into your brain. We figure it out, and then we go through the finances, and then I get to learn about them based on the establishment that you set before of your personality, that I get to know about you and why you did the things. Guess what, special guy? I don't know if math teaches this, but when I look in your most recent month, I can't see what you spent in August. So yes, we're having a conversation about what last year looked like that got you into $70,000 of debt.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think the master's degree is going to solve that equation for you. So, yeah, we're going to talk about maybe the mistakes you made.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
So stop with the let's go into the documents then. I know we're going to go into the numbers that happened in the last month.
Okay.
Okay. So why the do you think it is okay to spend $120,000 in a year making 20 to 30?
Never said it was okay.
Then why'd you do it?
Fiscally.
No that you chose to do.
Why did we do it? We were fiscally irresponsible.
That is not an answer. Why did you choose to do it? That is not your choice. The fiscally irresponsible is not the answer. I want to know why the you did it. Self-assessment. Try to get any kind of reflection in your life.
Why did I do it? I don't necessarily have a great answer for it. I'm fiscally irresponsible.
Oh my gosh, buddy, that is not going to be an answer.
But that's why we racked up so much of this debt.
No,
because we spend money on dumb shit.
There we go. There's an attempt.
Stupid one-time purchases.
So what are you getting? This one-time purchases that you're able to justify for an entire fucking year, which will apparently never happen again in the rest of your life.
Never said that.
Okay, then why are we defending ourselves like it's just one-time purchases that'll never happen again?
Because certain one-time purchases will never be made again. I have already looked at
Sure, but they will be replaced with other one-time purchases.
That's what I don't want to do is replace them.
But they always will.
But you say they always will. They don't necessarily have to always be.
with your discipline if you choose to.
I know that's what I need to work on is my fiscal discipline.
Yeah, so let's learn about why you did those in the past. Tell me, what were you purchasing, dude? Instead of just saying I'm fiscally irresponsible and trying to move on. What the did you actually do?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't know we spent $70,000 in a year. That's why I'm saying I don't know what these are.
Can you answer the question, guy? You don't need to sit here and try to look good.
I don't know what we spent that money on, the $70,000.
You can't reflect to 3 months ago.
$12,000.
You keep bringing up one-time purchases. Tell me about any of them.
Couches, one-time purchase.
Oh, he figured it out. He was able to get an answer. We got there 10 minutes later.
Couches, one-time purchase. TV, one-time purchase. All the stuff we've had to move in.
That's $70,000, couches and TV?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what this $70,000 is. All the stuff we've had to move in. Plates, dishes.
You needed a TV to survive.
Well, we've had our TVs. But,
okay, so that wasn't it then.
Okay, so desks for her to sew, sewing machine for her to sew. Okay. So she can try and make some supplemental income when she's allowed to work.
How much have we made?
None so far because I cannot work.
She's not allowed to make any money, whether it's cash or in the bank account.
Then maybe we shouldn't have purchased for something she can't do.
That's when she was allowed to work.
And did you make any money doing that?
No.
Okay, so bullshit. Keep going.
I don't even know what other one-time purchases could be. Lots of food, lots of, your passport doesn't really count because you had to get that. But going on vacation to Ocean City.
Yes, that is necessary for surviving and moving into a new place. This guy. What are you talking about?
Technically that was before, but.
How would you talk about since the unemployment? Because your entire let's frame back. Let's get to where this started. You specifically said we are going to get out of debt when she gets income because everything's going to change because we got income. However, obviously, mathematically, you can do that part. You know that is not why you're in this debt.
Correct.
Because no amount of income she gets, unless she gets a 6-figure job, would make up for the kind of spending you guys did last year. So tell me what the you guys were doing since she got unemployed.
Spending money on dumb shit. Also, I don't really
said it was just one-time purchases.
Also, I don't really have the money coming in to kind of.
Hey, how about you work like a fucking man then?
I am working. What the fuck do you mean?
You took 3 months off when she was unemployed.
I didn't take 3 months off.
It was summer break.
I worked over the summer.
What'd you do?
I work at CVS.
You said you weren't bringing in money. You would have been bringing in money if you were working at CVS.
They let me work 30 hours a week.
Okay, 30 hours a week is money. Then don't say you didn't bring in money.
I never said that.
Did he not just say he didn't make
never
money?
Said that. No, I work at CVS while I work during school, and over the summer, they don't let me work full-time. They let me work 30 hours a week.
Who doesn't?
CVS.
Okay.
Because they can't transition me from part-time to full-time because of benefits.
But you pick up a second job somewhere else.
That's what I'm trying to do right now. Over the summer.
No, last year. I don't give a shit about right now. We're still talking about last summer, trying to follow along.
Yeah.
Why didn't you work a second job?
Because she was still working over the summer.
She got unemployed in August. Why didn't you pick up a second job?
In August.
Why couldn't you pick up a job in the evenings? You don't make enough money.
I work at CVS in the evenings.
It was CVS in the evenings.
I work at CVS.
Why are you working at CVS right now?
I am.
Why did you say that? That's what you do for a living. How am I able to give answers without a full picture?
Listen, to be fair, you cut me off after I said substitute teacher, and I never got to go back into that conversation.
How much do you make at CVS now?
It's about $19 an hour.
How many hours a week are we currently working?
During school, it's about 10 hours a week. I work there Mondays and Tuesdays after.
You can do more than that.
I work there Mondays and Tuesdays after school. They don't let you work Saturdays, Sundays. Sundays are only open for.
Are there other weekdays other than Monday and Tuesday?
Yes.
Might need to check your calendar.
I also have my schooling that I have to do.
Okay, and when does that take place?
I do my schooling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm in online school.
When are the classes? What time?
It's all asynchronous, so I do it whenever I have time. There's no live lectures. They're all
good.
Just posted.
Okay, so you can work after school for a few hours.
Yeah, I do work. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if I come home at CVS, I usually get home 9 p.m. Mm-hmm. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to school. If I do my schooling after
that, so you're doing the thing that the rest of us have done all throughout life when we had to sacrifice, and maybe you get a little less sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, to pay the bills for your fucking wife, the roof over her head, since she doesn't have a choice to work, yeah, you man up a little.
Okay, I completely agree. That's why I'm looking for...
Good, which is why you didn't do that.
That's why I'm looking
I love
for
how this guy's just like, we're going to do this. Everything's going to be good. It's just one-time purchase. And everything's going to be good in the future. You're right. I will do that. I'm here. Guys, I was just financially insecure. How about, that's not how this works. You don't just get out of a pushback by saying, you're right, I'm just going to do it. No! Why weren't you? Because I can't just believe you're going to do something if you're just going to say...
Because when I'm already working in school, and I'm already working that second job for 2 of those days a week, the other 3 days I'm doing schooling...
CVS won't let you work on the weekend?
No.
Cool, go to McDonald's.
Why would I want to go work at McDonald's? Sure, $15 an hour.
Money?
Money?
Yeah, money.
I have schooling I have to do as well.
Okay, you didn't say that. You said Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Again, how am I able to have any kind of assessment if you refuse to answer a question sufficiently?
I am perfectly capable of working, but I don't want to work 7 days a week.
I don't give a f what you want. You're under by $1,000 and you have a wife who can't work and it is not her fault.
Yeah, but I am not working 7 days a week while I am in school.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to fail school. That's going to be more student loan money that I'm going to have to do.
But you said you did school Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You did not say Saturday and Sunday.
I do school Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You did not say Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Like maybe I could pick up a second job.
Yes, that's what I just said. That's literally what I just said.
That's what I'm trying to do for the summer right now. I'm applying to jobs currently.
Not for the summer. I'm saying
if they hire me now, I'll do it. But I'm applying for these jobs.
You can say so many. You can run the rest of this conversation of, yes, you're right. I will do that. I want to know why you didn't do it because I will have no faith. It's just like someone who comes on, has all this debt and says, I'm just going to pay it off in the next year. By the way, that's exactly what they just said earlier in the conversation. How can I have any kind of belief in that if you have not been doing that? That is why I am trying to ask questions as to why you are not doing something so we can diagnose and find a way to get you to actually do it in the future. The answer of, I was just financially insecure and I'm not going to be. That's not a f***ing answer, buddy. You do not get anywhere in life with that.
So why I didn't work?
Yes, why you're not working on Saturdays and Sundays.
Because I'm lazy. That's my time to recuperate from the week.
Great.
Could I have done
You married a lazy man who's not willing to keep the roof over her head.
Could I have done
How
better?
does that feel?
She has a roof over her head, actually.
For now. Keep going $1,000 in the negative every single month. We'll see how long that lasts. You married a lazy man. How does that feel?
I don't think he's lazy.
Really?
I think he's okay.
He's not willing to work Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I think he should take a break as well.
You don't want the bills paid.
He does pay the bills, but I think
you are under by $1,000 and debt is going up and we're at the $70,000 since you went unemployed. What are we talking about? You're going further in debt. That's not paying the bills. Do we know what paying the bills are? I'm a little concerned that both of you do not know what paying the bills are. Which makes me a little nervous for the future of this conversation. Going to debt is not paying the bills. We do realize this, right? That is actually additional bills now?
Yeah, but he is working 2 jobs and going to school, so I do not think he's lazy.
He is not making enough when he has time to go make more money, and he is choosing not to. And he just said, because I'm lazy. That was his own words. He literally just said he was lazy.
Yeah, but I don't think he's lazy.
Oh my gosh. He's not making enough money when he has the choice to go make more money. I don't know what to do. Sucks. It sucks not to have a break. It sucks not to have a break. We all want to have a break, but we all sacrifice in the time of need. And you're in the time of need. This is a fun one. I get to get you free money, and then I get to get myself free money. It's a pure win-win for both of us. What do you have to do? Sign up for a SoFi High Yield Savings account and get a welcome bonus of $300. Sign up for Acorns using my link and get $20 instead of the usual $5. Finally, sign up for Silo and earn up to $5,000 in cash back on your own stocks. These offers have been negotiated to give us both more money than using traditional sign-up methods. So use the links in the resources section of the description below and get yourself $5,320 right now. So you can do it. I'm not thrilled to say go do it. I don't fucking want to see you be out there. No, well, what? I don't want to see you. Thing. I don't want to see you. Just working away. And it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm currently applying to jobs, and that's what sucks is like I'm going to have to work these 7 days a week until her work permit comes in, but that's a crapshoot when it comes in. They basically said because they fired USCIS representatives, everything's getting pushed back, so we don't know. Currently in the process of applying for jobs, but it all depends on who gets back to me. I have remote jobs I've applied for. I have, like local Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Target, that sort of thing.
Do them.
I'm just waiting to hear back. Like, that's the thing.
What is your resume? Because you're the only person in the entire world that will apply to thousands of jobs and not get one interview.
That's not true. That's not true. I also applied to multiple jobs.
Okay, no offense. You're in a very unique situation.
Yeah.
True.
You do not qualify in that.
Yeah, because yours before, you have to, because your social says you can't work. You had to put hey, I can only work till August of 24, and people aren't going to hire you for that.
Yeah, but that's not what I had in my resume.
Yeah. But I mean, it does suck that we're in this position and obviously I want to take care of my wife. I want her to be happy and we're not in debt and all this stuff.
You want to, but then you don't need the one-time purchases. I'm still not aligned with. I do not accept your one-time purchases. You chose to do them. If we are caring about the household, it is not getting a fucking dream bed frame or whatever. I don't even know. The couch.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We get a used couch off of Facebook Marketplace.
And I think looking back into like us making those one-time purchases, in the moment, it felt like we had the finances for it. But obviously looking back on it now, seeing how much debt that we're in, it's a huge mistake, right? Like we're in all of this debt because we were stupid when we had the money. But I think now we can use that as a learning experience and to not do those stupid mistakes going forward.
Okay, let's play a little game I like to call special little game.
It's a good name.
Again, just self-assessing where you guys are at, and then we're going to jump into numbers, which is what you really, really want. You guys like, we got to get into the numbers. Okay. I want you guys to point to the person you think is the cause of this, okay? I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to point to, it can be pointing to yourself, you can be pointing to each other at the same time, okay?
Okay.
So at the moment after I ask it, make the point, okay? Who is the most likely to hide their spending? Okay. It's interesting. We'll get into that. Whose financial spending is sabotaging the relationship? Who is currently more responsible for the relationship's financial stressors? Oh, we both think it's ourselves. And between the two of you, who needs financial audit the most? You both think it's yourselves. So why are you both? Because you both just thought you were for the last two.
So I think the second to last question, why she thinks like the financial situation sabotages her, is because I think she feels like she's a burden on the relationship because she's not able to make an income.
Not only that, I do not like to cook, so I like to get some takeout a lot.
Why do you think he said himself?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. He's your fucking husband. I hope you know something about him. Why does he think it's him?
Yeah, I don't think he spends more than I do.
Why do you think he thinks it's him?
I don't know.
Lady, that's not good. That is not good that you can't even like get in the brain of your man. Oh boy. Okay. And when it was most likely to hide their spending, you both pointed to her. What the fuck are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything, but I like to buy skins in video games and not tell him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals, she loves it. But if someone were to hide it, it would be her with like video game stuff. Like,
and whose financial spending is sabotaging a relationship? You both pointed to you.
Yeah.
Why?
So I think, a lot of the burden, all the burden for financial stuff falls to me when it comes with like making money and stuff.
But this is spending. Financial spending is sabotaging
and
the relationship.
So with the spending,
let me guess, the one-off purchases that'll never happen again in our entire lives.
So with the spending and stuff, a lot of the stuff that we spend, like, I don't necessarily have to like approve it, but we both talk about it, and if like I don't agree on it, it won't be spent. So like if she wants to go and spend a bunch of money at Ulta,
well, is that why you guys pointed to her for the secretive spending? Do you feel like you do secretive spending because he won't give permission if you ask?
It's not that he won't give permission, but I know what I'm going to spend on is dumb, and I just don't want to tell him that I'm spending my money on dumb stuff.
And you know he won't agree with it.
Yeah, it's not that I won't approve it because like...
Well, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with her just go spending without the communication of it?
I think we have like a boundary. Like she's not going to go nuts with like...
Well, what do we qualify?
Like... Maybe once a month she buys like a $20 skin for...
Well, that's not crazy, but is that all we're talking that's happening?
Like she doesn't ever financially
You don't do more than that?
No, I don't do more than like $20.
Time, it was with Luce, one of your friends.
Okay, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, go. On go, I want you guys to give me your household financial score of where you think you are. 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. 3, 2, 1.
5.
8.
Do you want to translate?
For me or for her?
Well, she thinks it's an 8. I feel like you should deal with that.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I think she thinks because...
Buddy, you have $70,000 in debt?
Because we have a roof over our heads, we have cars, like our...
You know all that can be taken away. You bragged about the roof over your head a second ago when I said, okay, he's not making enough to be able to actually do that. You know... You know that is not a permanent thing. Roofs can be taken away because you do not own your roof.
But those like mandatory expenses that we have, so like health insurance, roof over our head, groceries, that sort of stuff, that is all 100% taken care of.
Then why is last month $1,000 more than we brought in?
So the mandatory expenses are covered. The extra stuff is the stuff.
Are you okay with that? $1,000 more than is coming in being spent? 800.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
What the f did you attach yourself to, dude?
She is very.
Yeah, it sounds like from what you were saying earlier, you want to change. And I vibe with that. I didn't like the answers you were giving because they felt like cop-outs. However, I do feel that you want to change. How are you guys going to stay together with that mindset? Because that mindset is beyond conflicting with what you want to do.
Sometimes it can be a struggle to do this stuff because she's very like happy-minded and like go lucky with the attitude and stuff, and I tend to be more looking on the negative side of the aspect.
It's not just negative. You want to change, but she's okay with spending 1,000 hours than you guys make. She's literally okay with that. How can you guys ever vibe on money? Ever?
I'm okay with it, but I also do want to change very much.
How do you how that doesn't make any sense. How can you do both? How can you be okay with spending 30% more than is coming in, but you want to change? That doesn't make sense.
It's hard. Like I said, she has that happy-go-lucky mindset. So my impression of it is she thinks everything is okay, even if we're spending 30% more, because we have food on the table, we have a place to live, we have cars, medical insurance, she has her doctor's appointments and all that. But she also does know like the position we're in is not okay, having to balance transfer credit cards and all that sort of stuff. I just think she's trying to look on the brighter side of it and say it's okay because we still have a place to live and we have food on the table.
All right, if you want your Hammer Financial Score, want to see where you stand in the world of finances, go to calebhammer.com or click the link in the description below. And make sure you take advantage of our budgeting app so you don't end up like them. And if you sign up for the annual version, I will sign our cookbook that you can't purchase or get anywhere, and I'll mail it directly to you. So make sure you download the budgeting app today, also in the description. Come on the show, calebhammer.com/apply here in Austin, Texas. We'd be happy to have you. Okay. Oh, you've been waiting for it your entire life. The dude's about to fucking come.
I like to look
We're
at the
about
numbers.
to talk about Discover.
The numbers are bad, but I like to look at them.
He loves to look at how bad they get. It's his little kink. Okay.
I didn't know they were that bad.
What's his
They are
kink?
bad.
I can tell he's a freak.
Mm-mm.
He likes getting pegged, doesn't he?
No.
What, you guys sisters? Is that what you were just telling me?
I'm vanilla.
Hmm.
I don't think you believe me.
Okay. $9,336 on this Discover card. What the fuck is that? With purchases, only the minimum monthly payment being made, and then interest of $34.64 being made. How long does this take to pay off? You might know. So how long does this take to pay off if you only do the minimum monthly payments without purchasing, which, by the way, isn't capable in your household because you're okay with spending 30% more than you make? Go ahead. How long does this take to pay off only doing minimum monthly payments, no purchases?
Maybe a year or two.
That's interesting. 26 years.
Yeah.
26 years?
Yeah,
Making just
before
the
we go to
minimum.
Zambia.
Yeah.
Zambia.
Oh, well, I thought it was
Yeah.
like 1 to 2 years.
No, it's just the
26
minimum.
years. Yeah, maybe don't spend 30% more than you make.
Damn.
Because that was a balance transfer from Amex.
That's why sometimes it's worth working on the weekend, even when we're tired. Not that we want to, not that we want other people to. I don't want people to conflate that wrong. But sometimes, look where it puts us. 26 years. And the longer we put that off by making less, and spending more, the longer that goes. That gets to 30 years before you know it. That gets to 35 years before you know it. That gets to your deathbed before you know it. Hey guys always ask me, Caleb, what do you invest in? And honestly, I keep it pretty boring. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is my investments right here. And this is why you gotta follow me on Blossom if you wanna see just that. A couple weeks back, I stumbled upon this social investing app called Blossom and thought, all right, let's give it a try. And it turns out It's actually really cool. And to be clear, they're not a brokerage. Blossom is a completely free social media platform. They're not your typical investing app. It's social, meaning you can follow exactly what I'm investing in, and you can check out my portfolio in real time and even discuss strategies with me and other investors. There's no guessing games, just clear transparency. So if you're curious about how I'm investing or just want to get smarter with your money, download Blossom right now, and you can follow me at Caleb Hammer. I'll be sharing my exact portfolio breakdown, investing tips, and even responding to your questions. It's totally free, super simple, and way more fun than just guessing stocks alone. So hit that link below, join me on Blossom, and let's grow our money together. Seriously, right now you can actually see what my portfolio looks like today. Okay. Minimum monthly payment $187, which, by the way, that minimum monthly payment alone, stacked on what I'm guessing is even more similar ones, for your income situation is a disgusting minimum monthly payment.
The bright side of that was it's still interest-free for...
What? No interest is being charged, $34.64.
That's a balance transfer on her Discover. So that should still be interest-free.
No. Hold on 1 second.
Because
No, buddy. First of all, that is 4%. So it's not interest-free. You are 4% on $9,222. But then, yes, of $232, you are facing nearly 18%. So no, there is still interest happening. 4% is not the end of the world, but it is still brutal. That is 4% on a large number, making your minimum monthly payment higher on an income that can barely afford it. And why are we balance transferring like that?
Interest.
The interest. Now, what happens a lot psychologically, of course, we know people balance transfer. They think they've made the progress, so they don't do anything more. And it is being suggested in your overall behavior that that potentially is mentally what you guys thought, because you did not make more than a minimum monthly payment. So you guys let your foot off the gas when you do something like this.
Well, for that card in particular, we've only been making the minimum monthly payments because we've been paying off other cards.
We'll see. I'll go through the debt. That better be the case, and I hope that's the case.
I paid off one card and a personal student loan.
I mean, they're telling me you're about to buy a new fucking fan.
A fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like what kind of fan? Like
just
$20 fan?
Like a cheap room fan, yeah. Like we want to get like a nice fan because
so
like
that you can use the balcony?
Because our AC is so expensive for our electric bill because our big patio door that we have is sealed horribly. So it constantly runs the AC.
You can kind of fix that handyman style, though.
Well, so the building is super old, so all of the stuff, like the rubber around the door, is all like off, and the building's not going to replace that unless they have to replace the whole patio door, and they will not replace the whole patio door. So we have, for the summer, we have big, or for the winter, we have big.
And this was your everyday spending card, historically?
The Amexes.
Oh, the one that you transferred into this?
Yeah.
Why do you have an everyday spending card? A credit card? You guys are not credit card people. You don't know how to manage that to save your life. You put one-time purchases that'll never happen again for the rest of your life over these. Because no one ever buys more than one couch.
Yeah. So like, even with the fan, like our electric bill, just trying to get that high, we have big plastic tarps over our windows right now.
I'm okay with the $20 fan. That's not the big. That's not the big issue for me. It's just like it's the behavior that got us here in the first place that we're certainly not fixing because we spent $800 more than came in
last month. $450 of that should have been for her passport, which is like
$450 out of $800. We're talking about half. Come on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be going out to eat literally once if we're in our negative. If we're in the red, we're not going out to eat once. I don't give a shit.
And that's a big problem that we have is like she sometimes doesn't want to cook, and I am a horrible
not a choice.
cook.
You don't have a fucking job. I don't give a fuck. That's not like traditional values or anything. I don't give a fuck. You don't have a job, that's your job. Because you guys can't afford anything. That's just math.
Yeah, and so to go out to like Sheetz or Dairy Queen or
why the fuck is that even a choice? Why is that a choice? Why do you feel like you don't get to participate in the making progress?
Because I hate cooking.
I don't give a fuck. He probably hates working his extra job.
Yeah, but I hate cooking. So.
I don't give a fuck. He probably hates working his extra job. Can we say something that wasn't just copy and pasted? Do it. Just do it. Just like you didn't want to do the thing that was required at your last job when it was your job. Maybe you just have to do it. Why don't you meal prep a couple times a week so you just warm it up? So it's not a fresh cook every single time.
Yeah, but we both do not like leftovers.
I don't care what you guys like. Stop using this word like. I don't give a Do you guys realize that your debt is getting worse? You can lose your roof over your head if you can't pay rent, and when your debt gets worse, your minimum monthly payments go higher, which means, at some point, we might not be able to pay our rent. That roof over your head, that precious roof that we really like. Yeah. So I don't give a about I like or don't like. I like the roof over your head. I like survival. Can we choose that, please? Can we choose any inkling of responsibility? You guys are in your upper to mid-20s, mid to uppers. You can act like adults, I promise.
I can try, but I don't know if I could actually do it.
What the fuck are you doing here, dude? What was this a desperate attempt at marriage? Like,
No.
what are we trying to do?
No.
She's okay with spending more money. I'm sorry, I'm being rude, but I don't give a she's okay with spending more money. You're not. You're willing to sacrifice by going and working your ass off. She's not willing to literally cook a meal. What are we doing? How do you guys vibe and last together?
There's behaviors that have to change on both of our parts, and those are behaviors that have to change. I have to work more. She has to maybe step up a little bit when it comes to household stuff.
But you're at least applying
clean.
for jobs. She's not making the steps towards stepping up.
Yeah, so these are things that we have to work on in our relationship and stuff. And I think this is kind
Be
of
honest with me. Not don't mince your words just because it's right here. Do you feel any kind of resentment here?
No,
with this?
I love her very, very much. There's no resentment.
There's nothing. There is no part of the fact that she's not willing to sacrifice, but you're willing to sacrifice everything.
I don't use the word resentment. There are times that I wish she would cook sometimes, but never do I resent her in any way.
Okay.
If I ever felt any sort of resentment towards her, I don't think I would have ever married her.
I don't know. You guys married after a year.
We did. I think we were both kind of at that stage in our lives where we realized, we were perfect for each other. So that's why we got married. We vibed very, very well together. Our finances,
How were we
horrible.
perfect for each other? Are you sure we weren't perfect for the situation?
No, situation.
Okay.
I was looking for a girlfriend. She wasn't looking for anybody. But
were you looking to stay?
No.
Mm-mm.
You were going to go back to Zambia?
Yeah.
Zambia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My plan was to go back home.
I got to look up for Zambia.
Yeah, she was fully set on going back home. And then we ended up dating and realized we both have the same goals in life. Don't want kids.
It's a cool flag.
And all that sort of stuff. So I think we kind of just hit off based on what our future expectations were.
You sure you guys want to live there?
Yeah.
Where she lives in the capital city, so it's very nice.
I get it. It's just in that equator belt.
Yeah, the copper belt.
That is just so hard to develop because of just so many natural problems that aren't even people's faults. It's no deep water ports, endless diseases, very hard to tame nature there.
And
it's just is that where if we get to choose to live somewhere, is that what we're choosing? It's not an African thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it was south and north, but that middle part, that's just rough. That's just rough
The rough
nature-wise.
thing about it is big reason why we're not going over now is because they have load shedding, so they shut off your electricity for part of the day, every day.
That's where I want to live.
And their internet is absolutely atrocious.
And I know you're addicted to that, so that's
Yeah, but the quality of life there is so much better than here.
It's cheaper. Once you buy a house
in
there.
which way?
If
many
you
ways.
buy a house over there, it's yours forever. There's no property tax. If you don't pay your utilities, it doesn't matter. That house is yours until you die.
There's no utilities to pay for sometimes. They turn them off.
Oh, well, you still pay for them.
I mean, you still pay for them, but they turn them off.
But it's much cheaper.
I'm paying for things I don't get.
But everything over there is much cheaper.
It's much cheaper. And it's for a reason. It's because you also don't make anything.
Yeah, and they don't have credit, a credit system over there. So there's no mortgages or credit cards. It's if you want a car or a house, you pay.
How much is a house?
You can get a house US dollars anywhere between 20 for something kind of.
This is why you don't need a loan for it.
Or they have houses that go up to $300,000-400,000 US that are giant mansions over there.
I'm sure you can find a loan for it.
Yeah, probably, but I don't really know the market.
I don't think we have loans for homes. There are no loans for homes.
You're literally saying no one could find a loan for a home in Zambia.
Well, last time I was there was nothing like that. Yeah.
Could be new. It's been a couple of years. But cars over there, you buy your car full cash, no interest payments.
How much is a car?
About maybe $5,000.
Okay, see,
5,
this makes it
10K.
like we're going and get a new car here. We're talking 40, 50.
Oh, yeah,
So
insane.
like it's a different situation. And yes, you can borrow to buy a home in Zambia. Several financial institutions offer various mortgage products tailored to different needs, including purchasing, building, or renovating a home. Zambian National Building Society, Zambian Home Loans, Zambian Static Bank Zambia, Asaba Bank Zambia, Zambian National Commercial Bank.
Yeah, but I have
get what
never
you're saying.
heard. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. There's a reason. When people brag about why something is so cheap, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And you also, it's the cost of living. When everything's very expensive in the Bay Area, you also make it significantly more.
Yeah.
But do it if you guys want to. I'm certainly not against it.
Yeah, I'm
not
fully
against
in.
it.
I'm obviously have to repay stuff off because making a Zambian salary over there is not going to pay like student loans that I still have to do
my
over
issue.
here.
And we have $70,000 to pay off, but no behavioral change.
But a lot of the compromise that we would get from living over there, I'd be perfectly happy with.
I bet you there'll be some once in a lifetime purchases once you move there. Blue cash every day. What's going on with this card?
So that's our everyday spender. I opened that maybe 3 years ago and then put her on as an authorized user after we got married.
Ooh.
So that's kind of what we spend up until a month ago when we got a Sam's Club card. Spend groceries on, gas on.
You paid last month's off. We're at $1,079. Is this always paid off?
Not always, but the balance on that one, I usually put well over the minimum on that. I usually put $400 a month towards that.
Well, that wouldn't pay it off. We're at $1,079.99. Let's just put the minimum monthly payment for budgeting purposes, $40. Okay. 4 years just to pay that off, by the way, if you only do minimums. Wendy's, Spotify. Aren't you going to miss Wendy's?
I will miss Wendy's. That's where our first date was.
Wingstop. Aren't you going to miss Wingstop?
No.
Raising Cane's. Aren't you going to miss Raising Cane's?
I will.
Sheets, Hulu, Dairy Queen. It's just like we just can't be doing like when we're literally under on a monthly basis, or even if we're breaking even, but this month we have a big passport thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to cut on this stuff. That is just what an adult does. That is what someone who is sacrificing do. And guess what? Your sacrifice of having to work more is now because you refuse to sacrifice and cut your spending before, and you've gotten yourself in debt where your minimum monthly payments are higher. You are now forcing yourself. Like you could have maybe worked an extra, 5-10 hours a week to break even before, but then you chose to spend way more than you made. So now you're forcing yourself to work an extra 20-30 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that is no longer a sympathy. Oh, I'm sorry you have to do that, because you chose to do that now. You chose to make the spending that has boosted these minimum monthly payments to where you no longer have a choice. Are there any big expenses coming up too, like that passport?
So she just had in the past 2 weeks 4 fillings. We do have dental insurance.
Good, but usually that isn't. It's not great.
It only covers 50%ish, I think. So for her 4 fillings out of pocket, that was about $400. And then she has 2 of her wisdom teeth coming out at the end of next month.
How much is that going to cost?
So they gave us the bill before insurance because they don't know what insurance is going to cover. It's $1,400 before insurance. So usually they said insurance covers maybe a little over half, 65%ish. So maybe around $500 to $700 depending on what they cover. And then she's had dental work 14-ish fillings over the past year and a half.
Oh my, yeah.
And that was
crazy.
That was before we had insurance. So that was all out of pocket, which was probably around $4,000 total.
Oh.
And that was Care credit card. That was all interest free for 12 months that we paid off. So that's all paid off, but it was still $4,000 for all of her dental work. Because they don't, how we do in America, go to the dentist every 6 months. They don't. They go when their teeth hurt. So her teeth never hurt. Zambians.
Back home.
Ooh. Zambians.
Yeah, plus I also don't like going to dentist at all.
Yeah.
Well, no one likes to.
Yeah, but hopefully after these teeth are done, I mean, half of her teeth are filled, so she should be okay.
Okay. Teeth are not one-time purchases. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but they also exist for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Until you pull them out. So no, that's not how that's going to work. More work will be done in the future if you both want to keep all your teeth.
I think the big reason why she got a lot of the dental work done at the beginning was because she never really saw a dentist over in Zambia because her teeth never hurt. When we started going every 6 months here, they went, oh my God, like you have so many cavities.
I'm sure you had a lot more sugar when you came here.
Yeah.
It just comes in our diet.
Yeah, so hopefully now with her seeing the dentist every 6 months and she's taking care of her teeth much, much better, that maybe only one filling every now and then rather than 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So hopefully much, much cheaper.
Over the past year and a half, my team and I have worked with experts to create the literal best for financial education programs on the entire internet. And even with a full month for a money-back guarantee, we have the lowest refund rate in the entire industry by far. So I'll teach you how to budget, no matter where you are in life, how you should be investing based on your investing profile, and how to get into real estate for the very first time or grow a massive rental property empire like I have in my own life. And I can also teach you how to get out of bad debt, but also utilize good debt to your advantage. And each of these is available individually in the education section in the description below. But at the top of that section, you can also bundle all 4 of them together for 15% off. So join the over 10,000 people who have gone through my educational programs and have changed their lives. And to learn more, just go to calebhammer.com or just click those links in the description below. Yeah, and apparently you can just go crazy on birthdays. You got him a fucking massive Oculus, Black Limited Edition Steelers tickets / coins, fucking couples massages. This is like you guys are spending so much money when one is not working and the other one makes peanuts. You guys are living a lifestyle that you're not even close to. And it is putting you in such a bad place. And still, I really don't care. Like, live wherever. I'm cheeky. I make jokes, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's like, you guys are living the bougie lifestyle. Like, how's that going to translate to over there? It's like I'm very curious to see the kind of lifestyle you guys live over there. But either way, you're never paying off the debt and saving up the money that you want to live, make it over there. If you got $1 million saved up, compound interest and all that good stuff, by the time, you could live like kings, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, you're never going to get there if you're living a $120,000 lifestyle like you guys refuse not to do, essentially, off of $20,000, $30,000 a year income. So I don't know how we're ever going to get to that Zambian point.
So the bougie in Zambia, and even making $20,000 here is rich for
I get that, but it's the lifestyle. Like, do you have access to all that stuff over there that you like to do? In either way. Okay, great. So, and that's if a coup doesn't happen.
That's true.
I'm just saying, if you're living the $120,000 a year lifestyle now while making 30, how are you ever going to pay off this debt and save up the amount of money that you want to have to live over there so you don't have to make that, median salary or whatever? Now, I looked up their GDP per capita, not even the median salary, but let's say you make $1,000 a month. You want to save up more money to live that higher lifestyle there. How do you get there if you're living off 120 now?
Yeah, so I think this shows kind of the big kick in the ass that both of us need. To essentially change everything that we're doing with how we're spending money. Like, obviously I'm going to need to work more whenever she gets to work, overtime if they allow it. So I think this is the big kick in the ass we need to get that debt away. So. And then we can save up for a couple of years and then we could be perfectly fine living over there. It's not a guarantee that we go over there in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or whatever. We'll just get to it whenever that comes around. But we do need to pay off this debt first. That is number one priority to us.
With a master's degree, with a lot of experience in Zambia, you can make about $3,000 as a math teacher. But if you go private, you can get $5,000 a year.
Okay.
That's good.
U.S. or Kwacha? U.S. money or Kwacha? That's
U.S.
their currency.
Okay.
That's good.
For Kwacha, you can go up to 106,820 Kwachas.
Because what did you make over there when you were working logistics?
$10K.
Yeah, it was $800 US a month.
Yeah.
And that was good salary for them.
Yay. Let's do that again. Okay, City Double Cash. And I love this card. I use this card, but you guys are not credit card people. And the last one, you're right. You paid off the last balance, but you did have interest accruing this year, showing that you do not always pay off the balance, meaning you're not credit card people. Don't use credit cards. It doesn't make sense. It takes 11 years to pay off this card. You're only making minimum payment. Looks like it's at a 0%. period right now, but $3,092.50 is your minimum. Oh, is your balance with a minimum monthly payment of $41. 11 years to pay off. But interest kicks in a year.
Yeah.
No, less than a year. It's like 9 months.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I think we transferred over in December. That was from the Amex.
Transfer. So it's transfers to transfer. Our transfers to transfer.
Yeah.
It's like, again, if we're transferring to transfer, you never get out of debt and never save up the stockpile, the arsenal that you need to get over there.
My thought process for balance transferring these was if we kept that whole balance on the Amex card, being that that's at like a 27% interest rate, we wouldn't be able to make those minimums.
I get that, but again, you're only making the minimums and you're never going to be able to go find Coney, okay?
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah, my thought process was do that, make the minimums until she can hopefully get her work permit, and then we can try and hammer down on those since I would like to pay the credit cards off first before like student loans or anything because they're the highest interest rate. And then we can hammer down on those. But you just
defer. It's just to kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
I really get that. And I haven't seen a card that we're making that like, okay, this is where we're putting all our energy. Because even still on that one card where you paid off the balance, but you don't always, and you're certainly not this next month, you're still spending on it, which is not our hyper focus, you know?
Yeah. Do you think it would have been a better use to keep all of those balances on one card? Or do you think what we did...
It's less about that. It's about what you do after what you did.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not doing the hyper focus. You're doing the foot off the gas that a lot of people fear. Like Dave Ramsey is super against credit card transfers and is against consolidation. I'm not.
Yeah.
But with stipulation, not to do what you're doing, which is where you don't bring that intensity to it. When you see interest going away and being hit from it, you bring that intensity, and that's why people like Dave are against it.
Yeah.
So it's the what you do after. And what you're doing after...
I think it was my thought process at the time was to have that be on like no interest or that 4% interest on that Discover one.
I understand the thought.
Just to give us a little bit of more leeway to try and pay some stuff off, but we don't have the money to pay the stuff off. That's the struggle.
Because you still spend money.
Yeah.
We saw the spending, and apparently you collect sports cards, so there's even more spending.
Don't spend money on them though. I got
you like find them under a dumpster?
I had a bunch of old sports cards from when I was a kid
I'm
at my
literally
parents.
being told you've spent thousands and thousands on them, so I don't know what you're
I got cards graded that I want to sell.
And you have not spent thousands on them?
Thousands? No. I spent to get them graded.
You know the only way they get that information is if you tell them that information?
Thousands? No. I spent to get them graded. It was like...
Oh, sorry. Never mind. I just read it wrong. They said you have thousands and thousands.
Yeah, I have cards worth...
What's it worth? What's your card collection worth?
So the ones that I have graded, I have a bunch of like Paul Skeens, PSA 10s.
How much?
If I sold them all right now on eBay, I'd probably make $1,500 to $2,000.
So why not, for the sake of our family, do that?
That's what I've been thinking about doing. But at the same time, I'm like, the one rookie who plays for the Pirates, the local team, he's the best pitcher in the MLB. So it's like, do I sell that now or do I hold on to it because it's going to give it worth?
Let's just get out of debt to meet our future goals that we want to do.
Yeah.
What's more important, a card, a potential day trade of it, or our family? I'm choosing our family. I'm choosing the household. That's what I'm choosing personally.
Yeah, that was...
and you collect too? What the f*** do you collect?
Manga.
Manga? What the fuck is a manga? Isn't that it's anime something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Japanese comic books.
Okay. How much?
About $20 each, I think. And I have about 30. Some of them are 30 because some of them are light.
How much?
Total?
Yeah, how many?
I have maybe 15 of them.
Okay, it's not the worst, but it's just, it's priorities of where we're going, man. It's priorities of where we're going. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be kicking into that 22.24% interest rate. Like, that is not the life we want to live in 9 months.
No.
And what is required to pay this off in 9 months is certainly not what you're doing. You're only making the minimum payments. So, with that balance, what was that? $3,092, yeah. 9 months, you got to do $343.55 a month. Oh, Sam's Club. Okay, we keep going. Luckily, this one's relatively small. It looks like you might pay this one off every month, so I'm not going to write it down as a debt. But right now, it's at $167.69 because you purchased $197.69.
Yeah, that one's for the Sam's Club groceries and gas that we just get there, and I do pay that one off every month. We just opened it maybe 2-3 months ago.
Why are you opening new cards if you can't manage your other cards? I'm glad you've done this well for a few months, but your other cards are showing that you cannot do them well. In fact, you're balance transferring to get out.
Yeah.
To get out of the world of interest. What is suggesting that you are safe enough with credit cards to be able to make it?
I figured with that one, we only spend that at Sam's Club. That's not a spender that we use.
Which I hope for now. For now, it's 3 months. Look what you've done with your history. It's the history thing. I know that if I have fucking Little Debbie's in my house that historically I eat them. Oh, I did well for a month. I'm okay to have them in the house now. I probably fall back into it. There are just human instincts, and you guys are clearly not good with budgeting or spending or managing or credit cards, whatever it is that we're discovering along the way. You might do well for a couple months. This is a dangerous weapon.
With that card never stays in my wallet. It always stays at home unless we are going to Sam's Club.
Okay, for now. I agree with you, and I believe you.
Yeah.
But it is based on your history that this is a ticking time bomb.
And that's what I'm trying to not do with this one is do any of that stuff because I know it's a ticking time bomb, and so that's why I leave it at home and I never want to spend any money on it other than just for our groceries.
Is this the second Discover It?
Yeah, that's my personal Discover.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, also paid off every month.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that we really hammered down on over the past maybe year and a half. I had a balance on that one of maybe like $4,000 that we just paid off.
But even the spending on this is, it's fucking OpenAI and Microsoft Ultimate. It's like, we can kind of cut that.
Yeah, Microsoft Ultimate is my Game Pass for my Xbox. And the ChatGPT is what I help. It helps me make lesson plans for school and for my homework and stuff.
Future is your children's education, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. The more and more we can cut out, the better. Because you are not making enough to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You're a substitute teacher. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Not a
Let's be honest.
job. Yeah.
Yes.
It's stepping stone. Hopefully that stepping stone is done by the end of this year.
Which I'm down for. Yeah. It's just like, I don't think you need this right now.
Yeah. I can agree to that.
Honestly, I'm going to go Dave Ramsey about it, so let me get the hands in the armpits. You shouldn't even have enough time to be playing your Xbox with how much you're working to get out of debt. Okay, and honestly, there's a part of that is true. Yeah. With you in this situation, it's a situational thing. Do I want you to do that forever? No. No one would suggest. People think I'm mean. Oh, work can't spend money. Okay, they're little pussies. The fact is, I want you to actually live a better life, and sometimes you got to make a little bit of a sacrifice in order to do that. Just sacrifice, okay? Temporarily, so we can get to the goal. You guys have a 20-year goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. A lot of people don't have a 20-year goal on this show. So let's take that and do what is necessary to get there. And right now, it is kind of something hardcore that is working our ass off, and it's cutting the unnecessaries. Even though you pay it off every month, it is still money that you have to put towards the card that could be going towards the rest of your debt. A firm? Oh, that's dangerous, especially for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our mattress.
What the fuck are we even buying?
Mattress, and there was her.
You could have cheapified the mattress. And there's the phone.
Yeah.
You did not need an iPhone.
It sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah, my old phone was also not
it's
working.
16.
Oh, dude, just get an SE. It's cheaper. Okay, affirm me. Are any of them interest?
No interest.
What's your minimum monthly on all this?
The
looks
mattress,
like $41, $42.
Yeah, $41.42 for the phone, and the mattress is about $69.70.
Okay, so we're looking at $111.12 on a monthly basis, and we owe $1,673.46. Yeah, Nectar. I got Nectar. Nectar's a good bed. You did not need that. When we're dying, when one's unemployed and the other one's making pennies, we don't get the nice mattress. And I love my Nectar, okay? You don't need it. We don't need a brand new iPhone.
Well,
these are priorities in life. Well, what?
We kind of did need the bed because the bed that we had was like two twin beds.
You did not need a bed you did not need a bed that is literally more in value than the GDP per capita of your homeland. That is not what we need to do to survive. When I moved down here, I slept on an air mattress, survived for 6 months while paying off debt. Then when I did upgrade, I got a $300 mattress. There are so many options between sleeping on the floor and getting a near $2,000 mattress. There are options. And this is what we do when we want to live a better life. This is what we do when we don't make much money. I'm sorry, you don't get to live the life of the rich and famous when you don't make the literal median household income in the United States, which is close to like $65,000, you make less than half of that. So I don't give a f***. You're not getting a nice mattress. Wham!
Also, less than half. We do make more than less than half. I make about 45 a year.
45 a year?
Substitute teaching brings in about 35, plus I make close to 10 with CVS.
You're extra. Okay.
Yeah.
It's that extra that keeps.
Yeah, it's still not wonderful, but...
Because I don't think you're making 35 with your substitute teacher. With what you make working full-time, net. Well, I'm thinking net. Okay. Right? I'm thinking net. Is like, that's if with no time off is 33.
Yeah,
you have a lot of time off. I'm guessing you're closer to like 22.
I've
net.
Only taken off...
No.
3 days
come on.
this year.
The months. The teaching income.
Yeah.
The summer break, the winter break, the spring break. Look, you work 6 days this month.
But 175 times, we have 180 days of school. And I've only missed, this is my 4th day of school that I've missed this week. So I've been there.
88?
180 times 175.
175, but that's not 175 net. It's probably one.
Because they take out retirement.
Times 88, you said?
180.
Sorry. 180 years,
yeah,
sorry.
180 days.
Okay, it's probably closer, like I said, 25. I said 22, 25. Okay.
Yeah, because they take out a decent chunk for...
So it's probably even less. It probably is closer to 22.
It's called PSERS. They take it out. It's the Pennsylvania State Education Retirement Service.
There it is.
Yeah.
At some point you'll get it. Hopefully it's being invested well and they don't...
I think they take 4 and then I put in an additional 3 or 4. So
is it a pension or do you get to control what it's going in?
The one that I'm in now is a pension because they have a bunch of different categories of it, but you can't get in those other categories until you're salaried.
Pensions in the United States sucks. They invest like pussies.
Yeah.
It's not like the Canadian teacher. The Ontario teacher fund, woo! They own like 5% of the world.
Yeah. So like the PSERS thing, they call it PSERS, but like I put 4% in, I think they take 4% out. So it's like a decent chunk of my check that comes out. But
it just usually doesn't return what you'd want to see in your own investments.
That first 4% is mandatory, like they take it out for anybody. Yeah. And that second 4% is like voluntary, but they kind of default that as your... So I could take that out. But you can only do that once a year. So I can't get into like the actual teacher pension, like the good stuff, until I'm salaried.
Well, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not my biggest concern. My concern is I see this fucking bullshit. No statements for these, but these are numbers. Okay, I see car lease 1, 789. Is that what's left?
Yes, that's what's left. That is my car. I have 2 months left.
What are you going to do in 2 months? What's the buyout?
13,500.
Just 1,300.
No, 13,500. But the car's worth about 17 to 17,500. But we also don't need 2 cars right now. So
what are you gonna do?
My thought process, and I have to talk to my brother-in-law because he sells the cars, so he knows. He knows more about this than I do.
But he's not the guy who
we bought the cars off of him.
Oh,
but he doesn't work there anymore. But he has friends that work there. Since my car value is more than my residual, buy out the car and immediately sell it. Make $2-3 grand off of it. Whoever wants to buy it.
I know. I would talk to him. I'd really try to get him to assess it. I'm down. I am down for it if it actually works. And I want you to be very careful about it.
Yeah. Over 3 years, I only have 14,500.
And then just use the one car?
Yeah, because she's not working.
Okay, so I'm going to cross that off for now. That minimum monthly payment will be gone in a couple months. What is the minimum for now?
On that one, it's $260.
For the next 2 months?
$263.
Okay, for probably the next few months. Okay, car lease 2. This one's bigger. We have a remaining $5,760. Not terrified about the balance. That's not. But okay. Well, what's the minimum monthly, and for how much longer?
$319 and some change, and it's for another 18 months.
Say $319.50. We'll call it. How many more?
18. We're like halfway through the lease.
How are we doing with mileages and everything on these?
Super low. Mine,
which is why we only need one car.
Yeah, mine that's about to be up in 2 months. I have just over 14,000 miles on it, so I'm under half of what they expected.
Yeah.
So that's why mine's worth a little bit more. And on hers, she's at about 11.5, which is under what she should be for this time in the lease. So,
Okay. Well, that part's good. And you haven't f***ed anything up
no.
on them?
No.
Good.
No.
So let's use this one car. But when we're using one car, our mileage will be a little higher. But I'm not terrified with what you guys do.
Yeah, because my workplace is only a mile away.
Yeah, you go home and then you goon permanently for the evening. And then
I goon, you
Well, I
game.
don't know what you do.
Yeah.
She games
game.
Marvel Rivals.
Right. Yep. Gotta buy the skins. Okay. So $319 a month on that forever. Now this one's disgusting. Student loans. I see a couple different things. I saw a different number in here than here. How much in student loans do we have?
For her name, she has about 21.
Oh, because you went to school here.
Yeah.
Why'd you go to school here?
Because my sisters were here and they said it's amazing, so I came.
Yeah, it's fun.
She
Yeah.
was going to take an American degree and go back home. An American degree is worth much more over there.
Yeah, but how much more do you get? To put in 40,000, what do you get? How long does it take back to earn that extra 40 versus not having an American degree and having a Zambian degree?
A long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a truthful answer. I like that. Okay. So, how much for her?
About 21. She has a loan for 16 and a loan for about 5.
What's the minimum?
129 and some change, and then about 60 or 70 on the other one. We pay, I think it's about 190 total.
Yeah. And then you, what's going on?
Joe. So my mom has loans that she took out, like Parent Plus, that are in her name.
Okay, but that's not in yours. So I'm not terribly worried about them. I get you probably want to pay back.
Yeah,
I'm down for it. But let's worry about what's in your name.
So just in my name, I just paid off a Discover one that was $5,000.
Student loan, a private student loan, Discover?
I had to get one for my last semester of my bachelor's degree because.
So are the rest federal now?
Yes, everything else.
What? How much?
I want to say maybe around 35 to 40 just in my name, and there's about 40 in my mom's name.
Okay, how much for your 40 is your minimum monthly?
0 right now because I'm in school.
Right. Yep, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
And so I'm in school. I'm taking one class in the fall that goes along with my student teaching. Student teaching should end in about...
You have to borrow more?
So they gave me that money already. It's sitting in my account. So I'll just use that account to pay.
So if I see that, it's not going to count.
Yeah.
So where is that in here? And how much?
Where's the cash?
That money, yeah.
That money is in my personal savings account.
Okay, so we'll see with that. So this is that it for debt? I think that's it for debt. Is that it for debt?
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
Okay. Citizens. Okay. So in here, I see 6,243. What is this? What's up with this account? What's going on?
So that account, that's the one that has the most in it, right? That will be our joint account. So that's what we use, pay our rent, pay our car.
And none of this is for that school.
No.
Okay. It's a good balance. Why isn't any of that going towards debt?
So I'm worried with over the summer, if one of these jobs don't hire me, that I kind of need that as a backup fund just to pay those bills.
That's true.
Yeah. So I don't want to spend all that money and then we end up having no money and then no place to live.
1,690 in this one. It's just money back and forth between things.
Yeah, so that is my personal account. I get paid into that. My paychecks come, and then I just transfer them on our bank's app to the joint account.
Then 1,988 in this. What's this?
That is the student loan money.
That's it? That's all it's going to take to make it through?
One class.
Okay.
And that's what I want to talk about, too, with that student loan thing at the end. Student teaching. Sometimes paid, sometimes unpaid. Don't know yet.
Okay, well, hopefully you're going to be working your ass off outside of school hours, though.
PA started a $10,000 grant last year that I applied for within like the 10 minutes they opened this year. They're waiting for more people to sign up, and if I get picked, it's $10,000 over 3 months. And if I don't get picked, I have to work for 40 hours a week for free.
Yep, and then you're going to work 40 hours a week outside of work, making money so you can survive.
But luckily, I signed up enough for it.
And yes, he's going to probably without a break because he's a big boy who's going to do a little bit of a sacrifice, and maybe you should too. We have a very heavy work culture here.
Yeah, I've noticed.
But it's for a good reason, because if you want to spend like crazy, you have to earn. You don't just get to live the high life and not provide anything. $2,784. In what? Assets? My assets?
Coinbase.
Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, listen, that's okay. And then that's what we're having in Robinhood as well, 2,500. Just the thing, I'm not against crypto. I have crypto for like 1%, 2% of my portfolio. The thing is, just sell it for now. Just sell it for now and pay off the interest debt. Lower the risk over your head because you're headed into a summer with, I don't know the pay. We just discussed that. I'm going to go into student teaching for a semester, right? Is it a semester or a quarter?
Three months, yeah.
I don't know the pay. So lower the risk of the debt over the head. Let's minimize our minimum monthly payments that we are required to have when we don't know what the pay that we're about to have is. Okay, it's not about the crypto. It's about sell it. It looks like it's lost some value anyway, so there's no capital gains taxes that you're going to have to pay. Boom, pay off some of the debt. What do we have in crypto total?
So between those two, I want to say maybe 4.
There you go. Pay off City Double Cash.
Yeah, because I bought into
City
those.
Double Cash and most of Affirm. There you go. Is it taking care of interest? No, but it's taking care of minimum payments. It is taking care of about $151 of minimum monthly payments that you no longer have to take care of.
Yeah, I bought into those right during COVID when like I had no expenses because I was still living with my parents.
Which is great. And honestly, I don't need the long-winded version. Just sell it. And there's no point of having minimum monthly payments over our head when we're going into an income situation that we don't fully know. Okay? Right?
So you think it's worth paying the City one off, even though that's no interest, over the Discover with the 4%?
You can put it where you need to get. I'm trying to get rid of minimum monthly payments for you right now. A little less about the interest, but the minimum monthly payments when you don't know where your income is going to be coming, if any, soon. Because minimum monthly payments get scary. Interest makes the balance go up. Minimum monthly payments are required. So total income right now, well, with both of your jobs combined, what are we looking at net on a monthly basis?
Again, if full 10-week or 10-day weeks, it'd be $2,800 for the school, and then 10 at 19 would be an extra $380 before tax.
Okay, we'll call an extra $250.
Well, wait,
so
10 times 9, 3. So it'd be $720 per month, $380 per paycheck.
Okay. $720? So we'll call it an extra $600.
Yeah.
$3,400 on a monthly basis. Debt minimum monthly payments, let's get that. Not including Louis that's about to be paid off because no need.
Either way, that's being gone, whether I buy it out and sell it or just return it.
Which I definitely, This is what you guys have done with your choices for the critical one-off purchases. $888.62. What's your rent?
$1,000 even.
Okay, utilities, including internet preferably.
Internet's $50 a month. Electricity varies. In the wintertime, usually about $60.
Give average gas and electric.
We don't pay gas, just electric.
Electric, give you average.
For the full year, maybe about $120.
Okay. Vroom, drive, gas.
I fill up once a month, so $40 a month for me, and then she usually fills up once to twice a month.
Yeah, twice a month.
Because her sisters live about 45 minutes away.
120?
Total for both of us, about $120 a month.
Is car insurance per car or per individual in Pennsylvania?
Per car.
Okay, so what's the car insurance on that car? Because that's going to be the only car.
Yeah, so right now combined they're $212. If we get rid of her one car, it's going to be a little more than half that because they give us a discount for having two.
Yeah.
So maybe about $110, $120 for the one car.
I'm going to call it $120. Phone bill.
We have Mint, so we each pay $180 every 3 months.
What kind of Mint do you pay for?
6 months.
Oh, every 6 months.
Yeah,
sorry,
because they don't do a per month. You have to buy.
Okay, we'll call it
much.
30.
Yeah.
Okay, TP fund, gonna call it $150. Anything else you need to survive in life? It's makeup, blah blah blah. Groceries, $600. That gets you follow the meal plan, meal prep. I don't care if I want to. Medical health care. Monthly basis.
Ours is really cheap right now because we're on one income. It's about $50 for health insurance and about $30 for dental and vision. Does that take
before pay though, or after?
So we go through like the state. It's through Penny.
It's afterwards. So okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue. How much?
So through Penny, it's about $55 for healthcare for both of us, and then our dental and vision is through someone else. It's about $35.
Now, what about copays on a monthly basis typically? Or prescriptions or anything.
She will do therapy twice a month. Copays are $35, so $70. And then if she goes to the doctors or whatever, that's another $35. But that's
typical?
Usually once every 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
But
I'll put an extra 20.
Every month
okay, so I'll call it 180. Okay, do you have any pets?
No.
No.
Good. Anything else that needs to be in the budget?
Not that I can think of, because everything else is kind of expendable.
Well, and this is the stupid part. I get it with the passport. That is, an interesting thing. But you guys make enough money to break even if you actually lived within your means, but you refuse to because I don't want to. So I don't give a fuck at this point. This is your choice. You are choosing this. Now, some months are going to be less, but you need to go get more. You supplement that income by fucking driving Uber Eats if you have to. You will do anything. I know it's not perfect,
I'm not
but
allowed.
you...
Different type of car insurance required in Pennsylvania.
You will do anything that is necessary legally to make the money, okay? You will be selling butthole pics on the internet. That is a joke.
I'm in.
That is my retirement plan, personally. Okay. But yeah, so you will get this income no matter what. You will work all the jobs, all the hours, all the days to do it. But you have an extra $141.38. Will we make substantial progress on that? No. But we can keep up and we can start making small incremental progress towards the debt. You will sell the car and hopefully you make some money. If you do, pay off a car, get rid of minimum monthly payments. Okay? Boom. There we go. Maybe you can't do that. We don't know. Figure that out and be safe about it. Don't get yourself in a situation where all of a sudden you lose. It gets dumb. Okay. Now, big thing. You're right. I wouldn't pull from that checking account, but I would liquidate our crypto and I would pay off some of these debts to eliminate the minimum monthly payments, maybe the Affirm especially, because it's a chunky minimum monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just start grinding down from there. I mean, even with your debt, with your money that you have towards debt, you can pay off that blue cash in like 8 months. Even with your current situation. So we can start eliminating some of these minimum monthly payments. I think you guys can live the dream you want to within this 20-year thing, and you can save up enough to do it and get out of debt. But not in your current lifestyle. Your current lifestyle is $120,000 a year lifestyle, making 40, So this is behavioral. You need a budget. You need to use the budgeting app. You get the premium version forever. Take the classes. It sounds like you know some things, but you guys need to take it together. You need to take the budget one and the debt one, understand the consequences of the debt, what's good debt, what's bad debt. Take the budgeting class together so you guys are united on what is good and bad. Do this, and then the investing class for what we need to do to save up for what we want to do in Zambia. You guys can do this. It is literally just the basics for you guys because you make enough to break even. Not a lot of people have that on the show. You guys are in a blessed position, making very low income and still having enough to make it, okay? Even after all the mistakes we've made. So with this, you just need a budget and grind out the school thing, get in your career, then put everything we have towards this, build up a 6-month emergency fund. Then we are saving and investing, and then you can live the life that you want to live.
Absolutely.
Now, there's an absolutely crazy thing that we can't talk about for privacy reasons, but they agreed to talk about in the post show because it's behind the paywall and other people won't see it that they are trying to hide it from. Spending your budget, you overspend 0 out of 10. Debt, no collections. It's not the worst debt. It's just the income going along with it. That's not the best. Student loans are pretty brutal though, but I'm going to give you about a 2 out of 10. Emergency fund, we do have a little bit. We're about a 4 out of 10 there. Retirement, pension hasn't been going for very long, has it?
2 years. It'll be 2 full years.
I'm going to say about a 2 out of 10 there. Because I know you don't have anything in real estate, 0 out of 10. Can't buy our $20,000 house yet. Okay, it's going to be Hammer Financial Score rounded up just barely, 2 out of 10. Join us in the post show. This is about to get juicy. $16,000 student loans are private?
She's not allowed federal loans.
I can't get federal loans.
Sick! Oh, my Sally Mae's an evil.
Yeah.
I don't think Sally Mae can come for me in Zambia.
Do you have to keep paying your student loans?
No, I don't think I could.
Exclusive members content. Click the link in the description or pinned comment below and watch thousands of hours of extra and uncensored content.